You are listening to the Love and Money Podcast, and today I have a very special guest, SueHam. Thank you for being on the show.
Hey, it is absolutely my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me on.
Okay, I'm going to start off by having you tell us who you are and what do you do?
Thank you. Well, I am a mother of three children, a former Marine of 9 years. I'm also a writer, an actor, speaker, and a real estate investor.
Okay, that's fabulous. SueHam, what is your background?
Um, my background consists of all of those things. People say that's too many things, but hey, I love to do different things. I've always been into the arts. That is where my heart is tremendously. I joined the Marine Corps, actually got out and decided I really wanted to pursue the arts full time. So I started doing stage plays, writing my actual stage plays, and then producing them with a producing partner. And then from there, I started dabbling into real estate investing, buying old houses and rehabbing them and placing tenants inside of them, and then turning around and refinancing them by pulling out the cash and repeating that process by buying more properties. And so today, that is what I'm focusing on pretty much full time now because of the pandemic. Prayerfully, we will get beyond the pandemic and all the sicknesses and illnesses, and then I can get back into doing the live stage plays. We do have an upcoming film that we're working on called King in King Street, and I'm sorry, I'm excited about that because Dr. King actually came to King Street, South Carolina, a very rural place, and delivered a speech to 5,000 people in the audience, encouraging them to register to vote and to actually go and vote.
Okay, that's interesting. So you're working on a film, King and King Street.
Yeah, short film. It's so crazy. I'm 47 years old, and I didn't learn that Dr. King actually gave a speech here until I was in my 30s. And I just think that's crazy because we're taught about Dr. King, the father of the civil rights movement, but we were not taught that he actually was here. And so with this film, what I hope to do is not only enlighten people about his visit here and also show a snippet of his speech, but also to inspire people in Williamsburg County to know that this place was so significant that he came here to actually deliver a speech. And hopefully that will instill more pride into the people of Williamsburg County so that we can be better, do better, and have better.
That's good. That's a good mission.
Thank you.
So SueHam, let's talk about real estate. Like, how did you get into real estate, or why did you get into real estate?
Well, growing up again, we would always on Sundays we'd go out to eat dinner, and we would go into the different neighborhoods with all these big, beautiful houses. And I was like, oh, one day I'm going to own a big, beautiful house. And I loved to read because, of course, we didn't have the internet. There was no YouTube or anything like that. So I love reading, and I always imagine myself always having all these houses in different parts of the world. And when I actually left home and joined the Marine Corps, I got to travel a little bit and I got to see how different cultures did different things. And then after getting out of the Marine Corps, I actually became a loan officer with one company for a few months. And then I became a loan officer assistant with the government. And I saw how contractors were getting houses at a really, really discounted rate, then turning around and refurbishing these houses, rehabbing them, and then selling them to people for a nice amount of money. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy. I was like, that beats going to work 40 hours a week when you can go get a house and possibly work on that house 2 3 months and then make more than what you would make in 1 year at a job. So that turned me on. And the second thing was the lack of housing here in my area. And it's not just my area, it's everywhere now. The lack of housing and the lack of people wanting to buy a house, because contrary to what everybody thinks, not everybody wants to purchase a house. They don't want that responsibility of having to maintain the maintenance, taxes and insurance. They would just prefer to just rent. And so when I came back home, I was faced with, hey, there's no place to rent. I didn't qualify for Section 8. And even if I did, there still were no Section 8 properties available to rent. So for me, I had to purchase a house. And I thought to myself, well, what about other people who are in the same predicament as me, not necessarily wanting to purchase because you're not sure you're going to, be homestead for forever. You may up and leave, and so that you don't want to be tied down to a property. What if there are other people that exist like that? And so for me, I started looking for dilapidated houses and providing a solution to the housing problem here. But not only providing a solution to the housing problem, providing people somewhere to stay, it also provided a financial solution for me, which enabled me to really become financially free, which freed me up to do so many other things that I love to do.
Okay. That sounds good. And so what kind of real estate investing do you do?
Well, I invest in funds. Pretty much everybody's probably heard of Cardone. He
Yes.
has Cardone Capital, and I've invested money into that to where I'm actually getting passive income. I don't do anything. I just get a check every month, well, a deposit every month into my account. And then I also purchase my own properties. So I buy land and I buy single family dwellings. I have a couple of duplexes that I own as well. And so the goal is to scale up to quads, then scale up to 8 units, then scale up to 50-unit complexes, because that is my desire, is to actually have one 50-unit complex where I can cultivate a community and teach them about financial literacy and about the possibilities and the happiness and joy of following your dreams to success. And then from there, I do see myself owning 100-unit complex and then on. I mean, the sky is not the limit. The only limit is the one that I impose upon myself. So I want to try to get as many as I can, because in the process, I'm helping people with solving a housing crisis by providing affordable, quality living space for them. I'm also adding to my financial freedom. And number three, I get to help to cultivate a community by teaching financial literacy and other things to help people succeed in this world.
Okay, so you're doing the buy and hold strategy, and then you're also doing the passive investing with Grant Cardone.
Yes, absolutely. Now, I do have a property on the market to sell, but I'm not really a seller. I love to hold my properties because I know that that's where the true money is. Because when you sell, you're going to be taxed capital gains, especially if you don't live in the house. And if you're doing a buy and hold strategy, you can always go to the bank and refinance, and that money is tax free. And you still have the property, and you have a tenant that's paying you rent that should pretty much cover your mortgage payments, taxes, insurance, and any repairs and maintenance capex that you might have.
Okay. So Suham, what advice would you give to someone who's interested in real estate investing, who has never done it before?
Do your homework. It's so different now because I actually started in 2006 with little to no knowledge, and I made a lot of mistakes. I lost a lot of money. And so now, today, with the internet, I always tell people there's no excuse, man. You don't have to rely on encyclopedias that are outdated, or you don't have to rely on trying to find a mentor who doesn't exist around you. You have thousands, millions of mentors online, from I have my own courses where I teach students how to do it because I have a heart for the beginners. A lot of times they don't know where to start, so I have a heart for people like that. But there's so many courses online. There's YouTube, there's Google where you can learn stuff for free. So many different podcasts. So do your homework. Now, in doing your homework, in learning, please understand that you got to take action. So my advice would be learn and do, because what good is learning if you never do? They say knowledge is power. I disagree. Applied knowledge is power. So it goes back to my simple process is learn some, do some, learn and do.
Learn and do.
Yeah.
Okay, so Suham, so you teach real estate. What do you teach?
I actually teach people the different types of property, how to acquire properties, how to find properties, how to fund properties, why properties make sense as far as for financial investing, how to screen their tenants, why you shouldn't frown on Section 8 tenants. They're beautiful. How to screen Section 8 tenants, which is the same way you screen any other tenants, how to set up your properties like a business, because it is a business, why you should have reserves. How to get contractors, how to vet contractors. It's just a whole gamut, of what it takes to get real estate investment properties. That's what we teach. And then we also have a private online Facebook group. So we don't just shove videos at you and PDFs at you and Word documents at you. We actually have a private Facebook group that you become a part of, where we actually share deals that we find, or we share what's going on with our deals so that we can learn what to do and what not to do. And I really love that aspect of it, because it's a great, beautiful cultural environment where we're there to uplift each other and give our 2 cents. We also bring in different speakers to teach about credit, to teach about finances, to teach about the home buying process, to talk about hard money lenders, and different things, the different aspects that go into obtaining property for real estate investment.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds very comprehensive.
It is. It is. But it's very understandable and very doable. And I think I break it down in an easy way to where it doesn't go over people's head. Again, I have a heart for the beginner. And, when you're going into real estate investing, some people try to make it seem like it's a complicated thing. Now, don't get it twisted. It can be challenging, but that's with anything in life. But at the end of the day, the basics are very simple. Once you know the basics, you can go into any deal and make it work. And once you have your mindset in check, doesn't matter what challenge presents itself to you, you can still find a solution.
Okay. Um, so Suham, I would like to transition over to the acting part
Mhm.
because I love acting myself.
Awesome sauce.
And so, how did you actually get into writing plays?
I've been writing all my life. I just never really thought my writing was that great. And when I got divorced, I think it was, when did I get divorced? I can't remember when I got divorced. But when I got divorced, I attempted at writing a stage play, and I found that it really helped me through that process
Mhm.
of my divorce. And then I never produced that play, which is so funny. Even though it helped me through the process of my divorce, I never produced it. We never did the play. But I always wanted to be in other stage plays, and I realized that being here in rural South Carolina, that there weren't plays happening here, and that if I really wanted to pursue the dreams of being on stage and actually seeing my words come to life, then it would be up to me to produce my own show, to create it. And so I embraced the concept of creating my way. And so I started writing different plays, and I realized that there were other actors in this area that felt the same way as me. They wanted to do these things, but there were no opportunities. So we created opportunities not just for me, but for others alike, just like me. And we went full speed ahead. And man, we just kept producing them, kept writing them, kept producing them. The public kept showing up. They kept loving them. We had people reaching out to us from like Atlanta, different parts of the world, to want to audition for our shows. So it just consistency, getting for one, number one, getting it going. Number two, consistency. Number three, marketing. And four, making sure that we deliver a great product that to make people want to come back and participate and see the stage plays.
Okay. So what is it like being a playwright?
I love it. I mean, I have so many characters inside of me. And then sometimes it's crazy because I have so many characters inside of me. I hear so many voices. I see so many things. Like I can look at something and people should be crying about it, right? And I'm also a comedian. I don't do stand up, but I'm comical. And so I see things that people would be boohoo crying about, and I'm just sitting up there and I'm like laughing, dying inside. So being able to write plays allows me to express that comical side, allows me to express a different perspective, get people to see and feel things differently because of the arts. And it also allows me to just um, use the gifts that God has given me. And that's the gift of imagination, the gift of writing, the gift of storytelling that actually moves and impact people in such a dynamic way.
Okay. And who would you like to work with that you haven't worked with yet?
Ooh, well, I've been blessed to have worked with David Calvert, so I would love to work with Shonda Rhimes. I would love to work with Issa Rae. I would love to work with Tyler Perry. Um, I would love to work with Kerry Washington. I would love to work with Regina King. Uh, it's just I would love to work with anybody that's done something of substance, and just serious about the arts. Denzel, of course. But when I'm thinking about writers and producers and directors, those the aforementioned people are the ones I would love to work with.
Okay. So you mentioned David Talbert,
Mhm.
working with him. What was it like working with David Talbert?
That was amazing. I went to audition for David. He had an actor's workshop. And I went to audition for David in 2015 or 16, I think it was. And it's just crazy, you know. But and he selected me for his play Almost Christmas. I was a featured extra. I didn't have any speaking parts. I had some up close parts. But here's the thing that was so beautiful that David did. David, he was broadcasting me on his social media Twitter platform like crazy. He shared me on his Facebook platform. And then when I started doing my stage plays and putting them out there, David actually started sharing them on his Twitter page. So he has such a heart for the underdog. And I will never, ever, ever, ever forget that. If anything, he makes me go harder for people who don't have a platform. He's the reason why I continue to create platforms. But he's an amazing person. What you see of him in TV art interviews, he is just that person. Him and his wife, Lynn Talbert.
Okay, Suham. So what advice would you give to someone who is interested in becoming a playwright or an actress?
Take courses. They didn't have that when I was get coming around. They, you know, now you got Facebook groups. They got thousands of Facebook groups for playwrights. Again, I didn't have that. In order for me to learn, I had to go to plays, and I live again in a rural area, so I had to travel like an hour to 2 hours to go to plays. And I'm sitting in the audience, and I'm looking at it, and I'm trying to learn from in my seat. So there are books out now. There are workshops. And there are scripts that you can download. So read other people's scripts, get into the workshops, watch the YouTube videos, go to Google, research, and most importantly, get started. There's a quote, and I can't remember who it's by, but it says, "Anything that's worth doing is worth doing poorly at first." So translate it in SueHam's turn. It doesn't matter if you suck in the beginning. If you really, really love it and you really think it's worth doing, get started and get better as you go.
That sounds good. Where can people find you if they want to learn more about real estate or if they want to audition for your place?
My plays, you can check it out at SueHam.com. I actually have a tab on there for the real estate as well. But again, everything is at SueHam.com. Or if you're just interested in the real estate, go to MoneyWithRealEstate.com.
Okay, and the last question, are there any words you would like to leave for the audience?
I just want to encourage everybody to just leap. That's the thing about faith. Faith is an action word. People think you just sit and you wait for stuff to fall out of the sky, but it's not. Faith is doing something, leaping, taking action and executing, believing that what you're working towards is going to happen. And so have that faith and take that action and watch the greatness that you manifest.
Sounds good. Okay, well, thank you for being on the show, Suhan.
Thank you, Shakira. I appreciate you so much.